brutally rating your favorite Minecraft mods. Which mods are the best and which mods are absolute junk? Today we're going to decide. Okay, so I now have this convenient list and we're going to be making a tier list, right? So we have basically Never Again, It's No From Me, What Is That Thing, C, B, A, S tier, S tier plus, and Godlike. Never done a tier list before. This is going to be interesting. And there's a whole bunch of mods that they've added below for us to categorize, right? Everything from Britannia to Chisel and Bits, Tech Reborn. I've played most of these mods, but some of them I would have either forgot about or I'll have no clue what they are. So unfortunately, they'll have to go into the junk. Let me know in the comments below if you actually agree with any of these choices, because this is going to be interesting. So Britannia. So Britannia is basically a mod where we get magic from flowers, I believe. I remember reviewing it at some point. This is actually a cool mod, which is kind of out of the box thinking. Now, Britannia is not one of my favorite mods, but it is a very beloved mod. So for me, it's going to have to go in A tier. S tier is usually like, it's an amazing mod, but I don't really particularly have any kind of like gravity towards Britannia, so I'm going to throw it in A tier. Integrated Dynamics. So this is another tech mod. I love tech mods, but I don't really remember what this mod was. I remember its title, but I think it was so underwhelming that I can't even have any clue what it even was. So I'm just going to throw that into What Is That Thing. I also think there's just too many tech mods nowadays, so that's just going to go in there, right? And there's going to be a whole bunch on this list. Better End. Better End, in my opinion, is a genuinely good mod. This like replaces tons of the content in the end. It rehashes the biome, adds some new mobs. I believe there wasn't really enough content in this. I think it's either still being worked on or the last time I played it, it wasn't finished. But I remember it being really good, so I'm going to throw that in A tier too. Okay, Oh the Biomes You Go, right? This is going to be an interesting one because I think this is literally one of the best biome mods of all time. So we have Biome Bundle, and then I think Oh the Biomes You Go is like the highest rated mod or like most downloaded one occurs, or at least one of them. So that's going to have to go into S tier plus. It's not my favorite mod, but it's just got so much community love for it that we're going to have to definitely vote that as a high up. ComputerCraft. So you guys know that I absolutely love Tekkit Classic, my favorite mod pack of all time. And because of that, I am going to throw this in S tier, okay? Because ComputerCraft literally was one of the most groundbreaking mods of all time. There's not really many mods like ComputerCraft. You can make mining turtles, you can make all these digital systems, display signs in the spawn. Crazy groundbreaking stuff people did with ComputerCraft, so that's definitely got to be an S tier. Roguelike Dungeons. So we have Roguelike Dungeons and we have Wesley's Roguelike Dungeons. This is the original Roguelike Dungeons, which basically makes roguelike based game content in Minecraft in the form of dungeons, kind of like in a Doom game. It's kind of similar like Doom-like dungeons, but more like RPG style dungeons from roguelikes. I don't think this mod is amazing, but people absolutely love it, and it's kind of a little bit different to what the structure mods were back in the day when this came out. But now there's so many roguelike dungeons mods that this kind of does make it drop a few tiers. I think it still deserves to be an A tier, to be honest. Carpenter's Blocks. I'm not a builder, right? I'm not very good at building, and I think Carpenter's Blocks is definitely one of the coolest mods. I think this is kind of like Chisel. I seem to remember this being like one of the first micro blocks mods, if I'm not wrong. So I think it has to go in A tier just for the fact that it gave kind of like a solution to builders that wasn't really present in the game before. Cooking for Blockheads. I particularly like this one. It adds like a few different specialized blocks of GUIs that are actually functional. For an example, you have like fridges and cooking blocks and you can actually do stuff with them. It's not just like your average boring furniture mod. I actually think, arguably, this deserves to be an S tier. It's not a godlike mod, but it's an effective mod which is actually functional and it's not just for vanity purposes. Mystical Agriculture. I may have got this one wrong. I may have confused Britannia with Mystical Agriculture, unless this is another magical based flora and plants mod. Maybe they're like very similar to each other. I don't think this is in A tier because I don't think it's as well known as Britannia, but I think this could actually take a slot in B tier, so I'm going to throw that in B tier. Twilight Forest. Okay, I think we're now approaching the god tier of mods. Twilight Forest is one of the most OG mods on Curse. Yet again, one of the most downloaded mods. But what makes me want to put this in godlike, and I think this is going to be the first mod that I throw in godlike, is because Twilight Forest has a very, I guess it's quite linear, but it has like one of the best progression systems in an RPG mod. Basically, once you go in the dimension Twilight Forest, to reach the other structures and reach the other bosses, there's like a progression system. So like, for an example, you have to kill the Naga in like the serpent structure to actually then be able to fight the Lich boss, for an example. So you have to defeat the previous boss to then go on to the next boss, and it adds this kind of like instance progression that's very reminiscent of World of Warcraft, which I used to love when I was younger. So that deserves a godlike tier because there's real thought that actually went into the progression, and it's just one of the best dimension mods, and it's still being updated and maintained after all these years. definitely godlike. Tinker's Construct. I think this mod, if my memory serves me correctly, is kind of like another tech mod. I think this is one that adds like drawbridges and stuff, or maybe that was Tinker's Mech Works. Getting confused, but I do remember it being quite good, but I also don't really remember particularly what it adds. I can't put it in what is that thing because I know it's a tech mod of sorts, and also that would be kind of disrespectful. So I'm just going to throw that in B tier right now, but that's just because my memory is kind of lacking on that mod. FTB quests. So before we got FTB quests, I think the only questing mod which was kind of well known that we had for mod packs was Better Questing, and that's the one that adds that quest book, so you can add custom content in the form of quests via a quest book in game. Now I never really liked the quest book because I hate opening books in game to then click on different chapters, and it's really clunky and annoying. FTB quests added like an intuitive GUI system where you could have like icons which like map to each other in like a tree of different quests, and you can make a really good progression system in your mod pack. You can create challenges that give rewards to the player, and you can create like different chapters of storylines. It sorts the whole progression arc in like the best way, and I think mod packs have really improved ever since FTB, Feed the Beast team, released the quest architecture. I think it deserves to be in godlike because it's my favorite questing system, and I think if it hadn't been released, mod packs would definitely suffer for it. So I think that goes in godlike. Cyclic. This is definitely another great mod. Cyclic is kind of like one of those mods that just adds a whole bunch of stuff, kind of like Quark. It adds just a whole bunch of jumble of items, blocks, content to the game. All of it's like different like tech gadgets, different display blocks. It's like an all-in-one, right? This goes in S tier plus because it just adds so much content, which kind of makes it a vanilla plus experience, but it does also add some content which is not really vanilla like. So I'm going to put that in S tier plus instead of godlike, but I think that's great. Applied Energistics, another groundbreaking tech mod, but for me it's just another tech mod, so that's getting thrown into B tier. Alchemistry, I hate to be disrespectful again, but what even is that thing? I can't remember that mod, so I'm going to throw it in there. Same with Ex Nihilo. It's just the name that I remember, but I really forget what the mod is. Witchery, really like the idea of that. Now, nowadays, there's a few different mods which kind of are the same, that add like witchcraft and witchcraft-based content, like Bewitchment, and a few other magic mods, so it's not as unique as it used to be, but I really do like Witchery. I think it adds like witch cauldrons, flying brooms. I think it also adds like druidism or some kind of like magic through plants, so you can make like a witch garden and stuff. It was a really cool mod for its time, and I think it deserves to be an A because I think that's a good mod. Create. So a lot of people are going to be really angry with me, a lot of the tech nerds as well, if I don't throw Create in S tier plus at least. But I'm going to go another added step and throw Create into godlike. Now, I've never managed to get into Create. I've never had the time to actually really learn it and apply myself and know how to build all the structures. But the stuff that people have made with Create, like monorails, trains, cannons, it's just like one of the best mods, undisputedly. You can't argue that. So I think it has to go in godlike, honestly. Resourceful bees, that's where like you utilize bees to actually do tasks for you and gather you materials and automate processes of the game. I like that because it like strays away from the standard tech arc of, okay, let's make a factory of machines, but instead let's just use bees and animals to kind of do our dirty work for us. I kind of like the idea of the concept of the mod. I haven't played it much, but I think it kind of deserves to be an A just because it's like a bit intuitive and they've kind of thought outside the box. SonicCraft, I'm going to throw that in a C because I don't know what it is. I think it's just a mod which adds content from the game Sonic. Nothing really special, just another fan mod. Storage drawers, I am going to actually put in an A. The reason being is storage drawers allow you to have much better sorting. And I remember countless times on multiplayer we played and we didn't know where to store any of our items, and we had to use these annoying hopper systems like in vanilla Minecraft. But when we got storage drawers, we could like label each drawer with a specific item and put stuff in the correct place and then know where it was. Great mod. Overloaded, don't know what that is. Aquaculture, that's going to be a B. That's like a fishing mod, I think. Not played enough to really rank it much higher. Everlasting abilities, no clue. GalactiCraft, I think, is honestly S tier plus. I would put that in, actually, I'm kind of tempted to put that in godlike. Okay, I'm actually going to put that in godlike. Reason being is GalactiCraft was like the first groundbreaking space mod. Now you have a few others that have kind of like copied it or been inspired by it. So you have like Space Boss Tools, you have Ad Astra, you have a few other kind of like Star Wars and space kind of mods. mods, but GalacticCraft by McDoodle was like the first groundbreaking sci-fi mod that let you travel to different dimensions but recognize them as actual planets. So this kind of really did switch up the mod scene when it got added. I think it was like 1.7.10 or 1.12.2 this mod was for originally, but it definitely changed the game and it really fueled some great mod packs like Tekkit. So that has to go in godlike for me. Pixelmon, yet again another godlike pack. I didn't play Pixelmon originally, I wasn't really with it, but then someone introduced me to Pixelmon and we played like a lot on this like German server like a few years ago, and it's a really good mod pack. Really enjoyed Pixelmon, some great Pokemon in that game. It's like it basically transforms Pokemon into Minecraft, and adds all the content from like the Pokemon games and the features you love into Minecraft, and it's a complete conversion mod, but it still kind of like keeps the aspects of Minecraft building and item management and stuff like that. Really cool mod, really great mod for multiplayer to play with people you know and friends and stuff like that, so that has to go in godlike. Power is just a power generation mod, in my opinion nothing special, that goes in C. Soul Flux Reborn, no clue. Pipes, yet again another C. Most of these generic tech mods, they're not really special anymore, so I am having to be critical. I'm sorry like if the mod authors are watching this. Ender Storage, I'm going to put that in B. I'm not sure if that was the original Ender Storage mod, but that was like, but you had different color-coded Ender chests, so you could have more than one Ender chest and kind of sort them. I like the concept of that. Building Gadgets, that's got to be S tier. It's not the same mod as Mining Tools, but I think it's by the same. I think this is another Direwolf 20 mod, if I'm correct, or I might be wrong, but that added like different tools to help you with building and just save you a whole bunch of time, like the PDA data pad and stuff like that. So that's got to go in S tier. Actually, additions, can't remember that, but I remember it being fairly good, so we're going to throw that in B. Dark Utilities, no clue. Portal Gun, that's got to be an S tier mod, right? That adds content from Valve's Portal 1 and 2 to the game. So you have a portal gun, so you can create an entry portal and an exit portal and teleport anywhere you want. And there was also a few cool decorative blocks. This was a mod by iChun, and it was for 1.12.2, I believe. Definitely one of the coolest mods ever, coolest fan mod, so that's got to throw in there. Chickens, I think that's a mod where you can like create like chicken nests and automate like egg hatching and stuff like that. I think so, can't remember, but we're going to throw that in B. Gendustry, no clue. Jellyfishing, no clue. Rats, okay, this is a funny mod. So Rats was kind of like, I think it started as a prank mod, right? It was a mod where it added like loads of different rats to the game, like different types of rats. So you had like rats in top hats, you had like different like neutral and aggressive rats, and then also later they added like a rat dimension. I can't remember if that was like a second mod or the same mod, but Rats was just a really funny mod for me, so I'm going to give that an A because I think it was really cool. Time in a Bottle, no clue. Rainbow Furnace, Brazier, no clue. Thormcraft, okay, so this is another beloved mod. Thormcraft was like where you could transmute certain items, you could use like this magnifying glass to like inspect stuff. I have like a whole mod showcase on it. There was like wizards or druids in the game. It's basically like a magic mod with kind of like elements of, I guess, Lovecraftian stuff. I can't remember, but this was a pretty good mod and I did a whole mod showcase on it, so I think it deserves to be an A tier. XNet, no clue what that is. Buildcraft, okay, this might be controversial because yet again another tech mod, but Buildcraft for me is going in godlike. Reason being is Tekkit Classic, again one of my favorite mods. Buildcraft just took automation to a whole new level. This was like the tech mod of tech mods. It was like the father of tech mods, right? So you had like quarries where you could completely automate farming, like automate mining. So you could create a quarry and it'd mine the whole like land for you automatically in a certain radius, and then you could create pipes where it would go from the quarry, take all of the blocks that it mined, and then just dump it in a chest for you, so you didn't have to do anything. You could also create like water pipes to like store fluids in tanks. There was so much stuff in this mod which just made it so cool. Waystones, we're going to throw that in A. That's basically stones where you can like create teleport points. I quite like that. Doggy Talents, I also am going to put that in an A. I think that really improved the pet system. Like you had whistles, you have dog beds. It just generally made like the whole dog and wolf pet system in the game actually interesting, because in Minecraft it's like you can create a pet or tame a pet if you like. You can give it a bone and give it a different color tag, but it was kind of boring, so I think Doggy Talents really improved that. Totemic, no clue what that is. Immersive Engineering though, so this was another mod when we played, I believe the mod pack we played a few years ago was SevTech Ages. Sevtech Aegis had immersive engineering, so this is going to go in S tier plus because there was some really cool different furnaces and different methods of actually creating like ingots and different types of metal alloys and then creating certain tools, and it was just generally a really groundbreaking tech mod, and there's some really nice like modular machines in this mod. Astral Sorcery, that was also in Sevtech Aegis, so I remember that quite well. That's going to go in S tier. There's some cool stuff that you could do with Astral Sorcery. Psi, don't know what that is. Sophisticated backpacks, that's probably just another boring backpacks mod. Ice and Fire, that's going to go in S tier plus. That's like the core of IndustrialCraft, right? You slay dragons, you make like dragon scale armor, you can make like dragon bone swords. Very Skyrim-esque, a really good RPG mod. There's some really cool stuff you can do. You can have mounts from that mod and tame different beasts. I think Ice and Fire was really cool at the time. Now you have other dragon mods like Worm Roost and mods where you can actually tame dragons, but back in its day, Ice and Fire was super groundbreaking. Logistic pipes, what is that? AgroCraft, throw that in a B. That's just another plants mod. Forestry. Now, this is like a classic mod. I didn't really play much of Forestry. I've reviewed it, but it's like all about trees and utilizing like plants and fauna. So I'm going to throw that in A tier just because it's like really beloved by the community. Dense ores, we're going to throw that in B. That just adds more like dense clusters of ores. Nothing too special in my opinion. NuclearCraft is going to go in S tier. So this was another really cool mod, which basically added like nukes and nuclear energy, and it was really cool at the time, especially when you pair it with IndustrialCraft. Industrial Foregoing, another mech mod or tech mod. I'm going to throw that in A tier. Woot, modular routers. Don't know what those are. The Undergarden's pretty cool. I'm going to throw that in B tier because I think it's a really great mod. There's some really good art assets in that mod, and it's a really good dimension mod. But I don't really think there's too much content in it, and I don't think it's like one of the most favored dimension mods of all time, but I think they put a great effort in, and there's some really talented people who worked on that mod. Extra utilities, we'll throw that in a C. Don't know too much about it. BiblioCraft, arguably one of the best like decorative mods of all time. So we're going to throw that in S tier plus because it adds like bookcases and a few modular pieces of furniture, which is just really useful. Trash cans, that was a good mod, but I'm going to throw that in C tier. Nothing too special. Don't know about tiny progression. Mo creatures, right. So Mo creatures, I'm going to throw this in godlike. The reason being is now when we look back on Mo creatures, we can just say, oh, it's just a mobs mod, right? It adds mobs and animals, but there's that whole nostalgia factor. One of the best 1.12.2 mods of all time, bear in mind, but back in OG Minecraft when there wasn't that many mods and when most mods weren't running on Forge yet, they were running on something called Mod Loader by Rizagami. Mo Creatures was one of like the only good mods at the time, along with some others like More Creeps and Weirdos. So that just has to take godlike because at the time there wasn't that many groundbreaking mods. Mechanism, another tech mod that has to go in A. Blood Magic, I'm going to put in S tier because that was basically utilizing like blood or blood magics kind of like in a dark like hell style fashion to create magic and energy and stuff like that, and I just think it's a really cool unique concept which hadn't been done before. Draconic Evolution is also going to go, I believe, I'm going to put that in A tier. The reason I like Draconic Evolution is it basically adds more content to the end. So when we get to the end, we can have like different armor sets and swords based on the materials and items we actually get from the Ender Dragon. And we can also use like the Ender Dragon egg and a few other like features from the end to actually advance further in progression further than the standard like diamond and netherite. So I really like the extra content that adds. It makes endgame much better. Flux Network and Mythic Botany, I don't really know those mods. Tech Reborn, so that's another tech mod for me. I'm going to throw that in B. I can't remember if that was a remake of IndustrialCraft. If it is a remake of IndustrialCraft, then I probably would have put it in S tier, but I just can't remember. Chisel and Bits, another mod which just adds cool stuff. Going to throw that in A tier. Chance Cubes, I don't know what that is. IndustrialCraft, this is another one that goes in godlike. I have rose-colored glasses, right? Anything that was in the Tech Classic mod pack instantly gets godlike because of the nostalgia for me. But IndustrialCraft added some really cool machines, like you have the macerator, you have the industrial furnace, you obviously have the compressor, you have like the lava furnace or like lava engine where you like use lava to create power, which is the lava generator. You have solar panels. There's just so many machines and cool stuff in this mod. You have like quantum armor, and then you have like nanosuit gear. Really cool stuff. There's some great PvP servers with that. Okay, so Roost. So Roost, I believe, is actually another chicken mod. So earlier we put a chicken mod in one of these categories, which is basically like utilizing chickens to like automate egg hatching and stuff like that, and I put that in B tier. Roost is basically the same thing, very similar, so I'm going to put that in B tier with it because it just makes sense. Thermal, I think it might be a mod in its own. I can't tell if this means thermal dynamics in the whole whole thermal series. If it does, I probably would have put that in S tier, but they don't really make that clear. Eidolon, I have no clue. I think that's based on the Eidolon movie. ProjectE. Okay, yet again, another godlike mod. ProjectE is basically kind of bringing transmutation into the game, and it's kind of taking inspiration from Full Metal Alchemist, the anime show, and it brings all those fundamentals of alchemy into Minecraft. So we can transmute items, we can use items as energy to then duplicate those items or burn them up to create new items. Really cool stuff. The condenser, one of the most coolest blocks in the game, which just makes gathering so much less boring. Tanks and Danks, don't know about that. Pam's Harvest Craft, we're going to put that in S tier plus, one of the most legendary mods of all time. I'd be doing the author Pam disservice if I didn't do that. Mob grinding utils, no clue. Apotheosis, I'm going to put that in S tier. Apotheosis basically adds a lot more content to the game to bulk it out. So like we have custom mobs and custom bosses with their own RPG names and special abilities. We have an improvement on the enchantment system, which makes it a lot better and a little bit more complex. Basically just RPG features to bulk out the game. Really like that. Lucky Blocks, we're going to put that in A tier just because it's like such a widespread mod that a lot of people love on YouTube. Railcraft adds trains, different rail tracks. Really cool. Avaricia, don't know about that. Environmental Tech, don't know about that. Forbidden and Arcanus, going to take an A. I think that's like a remake of an old Magic mod. I can't remember. There's so many Magic mods I reviewed, but I remember that being pretty good. Extended Crafting, don't know that. Block Entangler, still don't know that. Spice of Life, I remember that being decent. I'll put that in C because I don't remember it being like crazy good, but it was pretty good. Builders Wands, we will put in B2. Ender.io, that's got to go in A. That was a good mod. Atom 2, so this was a Dimension mod, so I'm going to throw this in S tier. I don't think it's a godlike mod, but it's so nostalgic that so many people know it and so many people played it. It deserves to at least be in S tier. Basically a desert dimension where we have pyramids, we have bandits in the desert. I think we also had like mummies as well, and general structures we could explore. Remember that being a great mod. Mistcraft, don't know that. In fact, I've heard of it, but I just don't know the features. Steve Carts is going to take an A because that just made like the minecart system just way better and less boring. Pneumatic Craft, that's going to take an A as well. Basically uses like gas and steam and pneumatics to create energy and power, and it really pairs well with other good tech mods. You can also get Pneumatic Craft Repressurized, which is like the reborn version of the mod. Gobber, I don't know. Simply Jetpacks, that also takes an A. Adds jetpacks to the game, self-explanatory, really cool. Chisel, so they had Chisel and Bits and now they have Chisel. I thought this was the same mod, but apparently it's different. I'm going to throw that in A. I think it deserves an A. Nature's Compass, now I would put this in S tier plus, but I'm actually going to put this in godlike. So this is also going to be controversial. Nature's Compass basically added an item called the Nature's Compass, where when you right click it opens up a menu which is a teleport system, and it allowed you to search for the coordinates of any different biome in the game and then teleport directly to that biome. Now before Minecraft 1.16.5 we didn't have teleport or locate commands. Well, we had teleport commands, but we didn't have the locate command, so we couldn't type in /locate biome /locate structure, so we had to rely on Nature's Compass to find a biome in the world and then teleport directly to it. This solved that problem. So pre 1.16.5 this was a lifesaver, so it has to go in godlike. Open blocks, I'm going to put that in A just because they have open blocks elevators, which is a really cool mod. Quark, that's going to take godlike from me. Quark basically is just a huge content mod which is broken down into different modules. What I particularly like about Quark though is it adds a camera mode where you can have different camera filters, you can have different like zoom modes, you can have different effects, and you can basically take some really nice photos in game. That's why I really like Quark. Translocator, no clue. Colossal Chest, no clue. Corpse, I'm going to put that in A. So when you die you basically leave behind a corpse and it has all your items and loot in it, so you can go back and recollect it upon death. Really like the idea of that without cheating. It's a nice system. RF Tools, that's going to go in a B. Mahu Sukai, I believe that was an anime mod and I remember that being good, so I'm going to put that into A. It was either an anime mod or it was a magic mod. I just generally remember it being good though. Compact Machines, that's going to go in C. Botany Pots, don't know that. Mob Cages, we'll put that in C. Reliquary, I remember that being good, but yet again don't remember the features, so that's going in a B. Iron Chest, I'm actually going to put that in S tier. The reason being is it's not particularly that special nowadays, but back in the day there wasn't really that many storage mods. I think you had like Ender Storage and a few others, but Iron Chest basically added like different versions of the wooden chest. So added like iron chest, gold chest, diamond chest, crystal chest, obsidian chest, glass chest. Just really cool chests with more storage velocity to them, so you could store more of your items, and it was really cool. Hats, that's going to go in B. That's just for vanity purposes. Archimedes ships, S tier for sure. Basically, you could create ships, I believe, out of blocks, and then those blocks would move, so you could actually steer them and move around the world with a block-based structure. Really impressive stuff. And I think there was also animations, so it didn't look clunky. It didn't just like glide from block to block. You could like turn it and stuff. It'd create the blocks into an actual entity. Really, really cool mod. Ore berries, that'll take a C from me. Refined storage, that's going to go in B. Extreme reactors, don't know that. Ars Nouveau, that's going to take an A. That's a great magic mod. Lost cities, that's going in S tier. One of the best world generation mods for post-apocalyptic mod packs. Anything that's like involves like zombie survival. Really good world generation. It basically can generate endless cities with underground sections, buildings with interiors, and there's so much customizability. Love that. Elevators also going to take S tier because everyone knows when you build a huge building, you need to make some kind of system, and ladders is just really boring and time consuming to climb up. And mine colonies, that's going to take a godlike from me. Mine colonies basically kind of take some of the elements from mods that I like Millionaire for an example, but it allows you to start with like a supply camp or a supply boat and then populate your city with like a town hall, barracks, different modular buildings, and build your own city where you can have workers that actually do tasks for you and automate most processes in the game, and create your own community. You can create like an empire, a castle, like a whole fancy village. You can basically create Skyrim in Minecraft. Mine colonies, absolute godlike tier. So let's now zoom out so you guys can, like, if you want, you can like screenshot this and like share it on Reddit, or you can like check and see if you agree with any of these. Do you agree with any of my rankings? Godlike, S tier plus, S tier, A, B, C. What is that thing? And then you'll also see where it says it's a no from me and never again. None of the mods on this list was so bad that they need to be in these slots. So most of them I've just ranked them badly because I don't know what they are, and some of them are just like not special or underwhelming. I'd be interested in the comments. Just let me know if you agree with any of these picks, and also let me know if you put any of these in a different category, because I'm really interested what you guys think. And also I'm going to put the link on screen right now here, tiermaker.com/create/Minecraft mods. If you go to this link here, you can actually create your own tier list and actually put the mods in the categories that you think are actually accurate to your opinion, and then you can share them with me on Discord and tell me like, look, I disagree with your list, I changed it, and this is what I think. So you guys can play around with this tier list and do it yourself. I think that's super fun, and I generally thought this video was a really interesting concept, so make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.